So glad you could join me today. What are the recent changes to Canada's impaired driving laws? Well, in 2018, there was a whole fundamental host of changes. They'd completely overhauled Canada's impaired driving laws, making it more difficult to win cases, frankly. And I'll go over some of the issues that arose. Well, first of all, some of the important ones. I'm not going to go over everywhere because there's just a whole laundry list of them. But first of all, they changed the offense to 80 or over. So previously, you had to be over 80 milligrams. So that was so important because if a person blew 89, say before, they would round down to 80 for court purposes and there's no offense. So that was a really big one. They got rid of the bolus drinking. The last drink defense was the big one. People would be at a bar, they'd have a couple shots before they leave, get in their car and blow over the legal limit, but argue that 2 drinks wasn't in their bloodstream yet. So that's gone completely. Now, back in the day, when you pulled into a ride program, they had to have an odor of alcohol on your breath or an admission of drinking to give you the alcohol test device. Now they don't need anything. You can just pull into a ride program, hey, I'm going to demand you blow in this device. You could look completely sober and there'd be no problem at all. So that's completely changed. They've also made it an offense. They can charge you now. You could be in your home or a bar 2 hours after you're driving, and they could make a demand for a breath demand or an alcohol test demand and charge you up to 2 hours. Then there's kind of a reverse onus on you to show that you were drinking after the time of driving. This covers situations for, I guess, for hit and runs, but there are legitimate situations where a person's rights could be breached. I mean, what if you had 5 beers at the bar and not drinking earlier? They've increased the mandatory minimum fines, in certain ways, because now if you blow up to 120, it's a $1,000 fine. Between 120 to 160, it's $1,500 now, and then over 160 and over, I should say, it is $2,000. But those are the minimums. It can get way worse than that. Additionally, and this is a crazy one in my mind, they've increased the penalty, the maximum penalty for simple impaired driving, not bodily harm or death, but simple impaired driving, to 10 years. That means that a permanent resident in Canada who has 1 DUI conviction could be deported from the country because it's considered a crime of serious criminality offense. So there's been a whole host of changes. There's also been the refusing to provide saliva or blood demands or a breath demand. That penalty is increased to a mandatory $2,000. Recall the person who pulls into a ride program who's sober, they demand an alcohol test. And let's say it's a little old lady who can't provide a breath sample, where they're going to get convicted of or charged with refusing to provide a breath sample. So there's a whole host of these things that have come into play, and some of them are being challenged in the courts. There's a whole panoply of cases that are dealing with this now, and we're sorting it out. And there's a whole bunch of other changes as well. One of the changes is they now have per se limits for THC in your bloodstream, and per se limits of THC in combination with alcohol where you could get charged with offenses. So there's a lot of tools now that police have to charge people, and it's making it much more difficult to defend these cases and much more easy to prosecute with much more serious penalties. So that's a quick overview of just a whole host of changes made it. It's too numerous to list in a short video, but those are the major ones that I've covered today. Thank you for watching our video. We are absolutely committed to bringing you the best possible criminal and DUI educational videos. If you found this video helpful, please like it and subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you've been charged with a criminal offense in Ontario and require our services, please click on the link in the description below.